Very warm welcome to all the viewers joining us for this pre-recorded show, recorded early doors on Saturday morning for the Sunday meeting, the 29th of September, and Sunday racing at Hollywoodbets Greyville. We're racing on the turf. 12:40 is the first race. In studio with me today is Dees Darnand. Dees, how do we find you?
Yeah, a bit of pain, but I'm going to soldier on. Fine, we are looking forward to this race meeting on the Sunday. Nice way to kick things off, and I see that 250,000 carryover to the jackpot, which happened on Friday in Fairview, the double header on Saturday, and we also have one and Hollywoodbets Greyville. Race number 4, 250,000 rand jackpot carryover, pool estimated to $1 million. But let's get straight into it, Sheldon. Parpot begins in race number 1, 12:40, and before we analyze the field, we got a rerun for you. Happy Fortune.
A cracker between them. Here's Happy Fortune coming home. The Ghost between them now going to start slicing through. And here comes the Ghost with a big run. The Ghost now takes on Happy Fortune. The Ghost hit the front and now starts to drive away. And the Ghost looked a penalty kick without a goalkeeper and eventually destroys them. Happy Fortune maybe second in a photo with Panther Unthera.
Well, that is the form line that we're possibly going to follow here. Two runners represented by that form line. Number 5, Happy Fortune, and number 8, Panthera Sia. They ran second and third respectively. I think the argument could be made that the scope for improvement is more on the side of number 5, having her second start, whereas Baron Borges' runner is having a 9th run. So those look to be the principles, but the run of the race will have to be Kumara Naidu's runner, considering the way she races, Sheldon. She's drawn one, Roy taking off, coming through from that form line. She has Cabello Matsanyana, who announced himself the other day when riding for Robin Klaassen that he's willing to travel if he gets the chances. So that's going to be the known front runner in the race against numbers 5 and 8. I must admit, if anything else wins, I can't find it, because those look to be the principles. I think the winner will come from one of those three.
I got to agree with you. I'm very strong on number 5, Happy Fortune. I had the luxury of Willie Peters bringing up some owners from Gauteng to come watch a race on the meeting. They had the 2 runners that day and they had 2 seconds. And Happy Fortune's a horse that they rate. Daryl Moore obviously trains this individual for Willie Peters and a host of connections. And it's lovely to get the new blood in the game. They really enjoy their racing. And they had a wonderful experience in the commentary box. And hopefully I can call Happy Fortune home for them. I was really impressed with what I saw first time out. They expected the horse to just need the experience, and if not too green around the turn, I think this daughter of Pathfork might just have the edge. But saying that, number 8, Panthera Unthea, has got the experience, has been around the turn, so that's a huge tick to the box of number 8, and also number 1, Yellow Jacket. So they've got the experience. It all depends exactly how much Happy Fortune has improved and how she goes around the turn. If she's sensible around the turn, I think she'll be in the winner's enclosure. From number 8, Panthera Unthea, and number 1, Yellow Jacket in race number 1.
Place accumulator, race number 2, maiden plate, 1,600 meters. You'll need to get on by 13:15. Well, the right rerun has been selected, and this is the horse that they're all going to have to beat.
Put it together, the rails run, always shining, and Actors on the outside, a runner. Inside the 200, Artist Model coming home hard on the inside. Actors on the outside, running a huge race. Artist Model on the inside and Actor, but it's Artist Model with the lead from Actor the outside. It's close, Actor on the line. Maybe Actor from Artist Model. Then came Captain Oliver in behind these runners and Photos.
Yeah, spread wide apart, Sheldon making the call, but he picked this horse up as they came into the straight, that the horse was coming on the outside. Artist Model on the inside, you saw the rerun. It was close between the two, but God Puller's runner got the better of Artist Model. And actually holding that form when they met prior to that, I thought Artist Model will have every chance of reversing it, but it was not to be. That form line I speak about was behind Red Mountain. But this field, there is some form. There are improvers in the race. I think if you're going to look past Artist Model, then it's going to be tough to try and have a punt on the head with any other horse unless you really like something. Sheldon, from what I saw last time out, I'm not concerned about Hollywoodbets Greyville. Know the draw because it's 7 out of, 14 runners drawn midfield. I think, with the Mike de Kock runners, when they show something early on in their careers, they're not going to take forever to win a maiden. This horse I thought was going to do it last time out, didn't. I'm going to make him the best bet on the card.
I got to agree, going to be very, very tough to beat. The introduction run, very unlucky. Second time out, the guys came for the son of Buffalo, Bill Cody, and just touched off. Went right down the inside, the win on the outside. So maybe I was just looking for a little bit of company. I think in this type of field, third run, I think looks very tough to beat. The money's come early down 13 to 10. Comes to Hollywoodbets Greyville for the first time. No issues at all, and around 13 to 10, I think majority of the punters, they'll be taking their doubles with Artist's Model. So very strong number 7, Artist's Model, probably the best bet on the card, as Dee said. Number 6, Dapper's been gelded after that last run, just 2 days later. Has the credentials, and after the rest will be the second selection. And then when you look at a horse like number 2, Hoodwinked, and number 4, See My Future, these are runners who can get into the fray. Barring those runners, there's nothing else that really jumps off the page. So D's number 7, Artist's Model, should be able to strut the stuff and get into the winner's box.
And you read the script. I read it the same way as you for the minor positions. 7 a banker, about 2 and 6 for the exacta position. 2 is trading at 7 to 1 at the time of recording, 6 at 4 to 1, and 7 money, 15 to 10 into 13 to 10. Personally, I think that will start in the red. Both Sheldon and myself like Artist's Model in the second. And if you want to follow Sheldon, well, maybe that could be the way to go. Race number 1, Happy Fortune onto Artist's Model. Collect the cash.
As we move along to race number 3, which is the opening leg of the all-important pick 6, and 13:50 is the carded off time. The distance 2,000 meters. As you know by now, we are racing on the turf, and the opening leg of the pick 6, they are betting 4 to 1 the field. So that tells the tale, D's. 4 to 1 the field. Number 7, Syrian Steel, 4 to 1. Number 9, Our Lady Fate, attracted some early support, 5 to 1 down, 4 to 1. Marco van Rensburg for the Robbie Hill team after running fourth to Izzy Bulo last time out with the tongue over the bit. And D's last time out also found significant support.
Yeah, this is, firstly, I just want to say this race, the fact that you read out the betting tells you the story. It's survival in any of the bets, whether you're playing trifectas, quartets, bipods. The pick 6 starts here. What a nightmare of a start to the pick 6. Whatever the results, you're going to drop tickets. I am going to take a chance with 3 runners for the place accumulator. I think the place accumulator, and I'm almost guaranteed that this place accumulator is going to pay very well. We're having a look at all the races to date, and this is where that dividend could start to drop tickets. I'm going to try with 3 horses. I say try, and I'm hoping, and I'm going to be positive about these 3 runners to get me through. 5 perfectly picked. Wendy Whitehead's runner, a horse that's been there in the maiden ranks, but off late has done well, and I think no stamina doubts if you're going to judge her on a penultimate start. Carl Utzon, I think, has got a nice strong hand here with number 7, Syrian Steel, and number 12, Walkie Talkie. The one thing I like about both these runners, Sheldon, is that Syrian Steel was partnered by Muzieni last time out. He gets the ride again. And Atandiwe Mgutla has been riding Walkie Talkie. He gets the ride again. So, these guys, it doesn't take them too long to get the maiden out of horses that they stick with. Generally when they've had enough, they've had enough. You'll see them, let go of the ride. But I think these 2 guys, they've had good fields for their fillies. No stamina doubts with both of them. So I'm going to take a chance. Both Carl Utzon's runners, number 7 and 12, with Wendy's Whitehead's runner, number 5, perfectly picked for the place accumulator. I'm afraid for the pick 6, I'm of no help.
Yes, when you look at the race, it's a field type of race, and you were talking about picking the rides at the right time. This is their living. So they've obviously, when they go with their agents and they go through the form lines, they're looking for the win. They need to make the money, they need to earn a living, and when they jump on these horses, they've done their homework, and as you mentioned, 1 or 2 runners there. So keep a close eye on Syrian Steel, showed the improvement last time out, and Muzi Yeni sticks with this individual. There's so many horses. Our Lady Fate, who found support last time out, and betting 4 to 1 the field, all I can say is good luck, throw in as many runners as you can. And D's, the longest priced horse in the race, number 2, Feather Dancer, at around 33 to 1 and 40 to 1. I'm going to throw this in and have a little bit of a place bet and throw it into the trifectas and quartets. I'm going to ignore those last 3 runs on the poly. And if you go to that run behind Golden Moment, The Mask, and Knock Him Stiff, this is a horse who could cause a little bit of a stir.
I'm just looking at the filly's form. If you look at the runs here at Hollywoodbets Greyville, there's had 1 run at the course, but all the other runs have been on the poly track. So they've tried the horse on the poly track, hasn't worked out. I think on the turf at Hollywoodbets Greyville, considering that the horse is nicely drawn at 2, and she does have that early pace and speed to keep up with them. And 1,000 to 1,200 meters. So if Sheldon thinks that the stamina could kick in, they've only been keeping her over sprint trips. She now jumps out to 2,000 meters. When they tried over a mile last time out, she did fade tamely in the running, but that we're going to say is on the poly track. Who knows? Maybe you could be onto something here, Sheldon. The horse gets 2,000 meters, not 10 furlongs. The horse number 2, Feather Dancer, could possibly be the fly in the ointment. A tough race. It's a trifecta quartet race, but Sheldon's found a nice roughie there. If that has to arrive, you will drop plenty tickets in the Pick 6. Well, this is going to be the bet that many will be aiming at. That is the jackpot that begins in race number 4, and the reason being it's a 250,000 Rand carryover, estimated pool R1 million. It's a multi-stakes over 2,300 meters, and a rerun here for an informed stable and an informed combination. It's Glenn Cotson and Cold Dickon who will partner number 1, Red William, but there is a rerun that we want to show, and that's last time out when running 4th.
Through Field Marshal, African Dust, Tobacconist. Yes, Salukwe coming at Field Marshal. Tobacconist a runner on the inside, but Salukwe's put the head in front, and Salukwe goes a neck, now a half clear. From Field Marshal in second, that's the way they stay. Salukwe sets up camp in the winner's enclosure. Then came Field Marshal in behind these.
I think considering the opposition, that could have been the right rerun to choose. I say this because all you need to do is look at where they've been placing this horse. Last start, average rating 82. Penultimate start, 83. 3 starts back, 83. And the list goes on. What's the average rating in this race? You're going to be wowed. It's a 72. It's a big drop in class for this individual who is looking for that next career win. Nicely drawn at 1. Sheldon, I mentioned at the top of this preview that whilst the stable's in form, so is the jockey, and they seem to be combining well together, Cold Dickon and Glenn Cotson.
They're doing exceptionally well at the moment, and from that 1 draw, 2,300 meters, I think there's a lot going to be in the favour of number 1, Red William. We saw Field Marshal come through and frank the form line, so the form's looking good. And if you look at the penultimate run, ran behind Officer in Command, run behind Pirate Prince, so it has taken on a bit stronger, and as you mentioned, the average rating is a 72 in this field, been taking on the 82s and the 83s, so I think number 1, Red William, at around 5 to 1 could provide some value, and this will definitely be a horse that you can go each way on. But does it stop there? No. There's a host of runners.
This is one of those races, and it's a smaller field than the previous race though, but you know what? You want to get through jackpot 1 without saying I'm going to include the field. How many horses do you think here, Sheldon? Out of the 9 runners, can we play with my rule and try and pick 4 between us?
Yes, I think so. I'm going to go with number 1, Red William, and horse number 6, Blackberry Breeze.
Okay. Okay, you 1 and 6 for Sheldon. I agree with him. 1 and 6. By the way, horse number 6, Blackberry Breeze, if I read it correctly, will be having his first start for Allison Wright, and a horse that's done well from 1,600 to 2,000 meters up in Gauteng. So keep an eye on that. That's priced up at 3 to 1. By the way, just a betting number 1, 3 to 1, 2 at 11 to 2, 3 at 4 to 1, 4 at 4 to 1, 5 at 11 to 2. 3 at 3 to 1, and 9 at 11 to 2 at the time of recording. So Sheldon is given numbers 1 and 6. And what I'm going to do is add the 2 numbers to that. 3, French Trip, Duncan House's runner. I think he's had 2 very good runs in the province, a win and a close-up second last time out. And then Quantifier is going to be a horse that I think is going to be spot on. After that break in January, 3 starts racing now. Didn't show much. First up, improvement behind Vihan's Bomb. Fair effort to Zacco. Horse that gets 2,600 meters. That's going to be my selection. So 1, 3, 5, and 6. Maybe I'll jot down this jackpot as well, Sheldon, for the guys as we go through it. We'll call it an in-running jackpot. 1, 3, 5, and 6. You happy with that, leg one?
Happy with that. 1, 3, 5, and 6. I'm happy with those numbers. My first selection will be number 1, Red William, from number 6, Blackberry Breeze. And then you've heard from D's add in the other runners. So 1, 3, 5, and 6. And let's hope that we come through with flying colours. Welcome back for race number 5. This will be run over the in-between sprint distance of 1,100 meters. And in race number 5, at this point in time, all 9 are carded to race. There's no scratchings at this point in time. Number 3, Cat's Pajamas, 14 to 10. Number 4, Buffalo Storm Cody. That's at a price of 33 to 10. And then we go out to Luhamba Pambile at 9 to 2. Warrior of Royalties around 10 to 1. But before we get into the action, let's go to interviews with Stuart Ferry and also trainer Peter Muscat.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think in the interview, we wanted to run him in the Natal Breeders. Probably wasn't the right race, polytrack and everything first up. And he always showed good work at home, and in that second start he showed it. But I think we've bumped probably the most competitive field of the year so far. I think, the way they rate 3-year-olds, we've all got to take our chances here.
He's done very well. He certainly was in need of his return, and he looked very threatening coming to the distance, but just didn't quite finish off. He has progressed fitness-wise from that race, and although it's a tough-looking contest, he looks set to be competitive.
Well, as you heard from both Stuart Ferry and Peter Muscat, a tough-looking contest, and as you heard, some highly regarded and highly rated 3-year-olds in the race. Just looking at Cat's Pajamas, 14 to 10. We saw Field Marshal come through on Friday night to win. So the forms, stables and form combination. Rachel Venica jumps aboard, takes the 1.5 kilograms off. Because if you look at the best weighted column, number 7, Navajo Nations on a 107 and Cat's Pajamas on a 101. So the 1.5 kilograms will bring Cat's Pajamas a lot closer. Now, D's, when I first looked at the race, I didn't see the distance. I said Navajo Nation, good thing. Because if you look, Sandringham Summit, Cape Eagle, Green with Envy, the Hollywoodbets Durbanville winner, Oriental Charm, Gladiatorian. Yeah. Then I saw the distance, 1,100 meters. Whoa. So I said he's earned his rating over a trip, not over 1,100. So now you've got to put it into perspective, and that's where Cat's Pajamas comes at live, and he looks the one to beat.
In fact, after Navajo Nation, go and watch the replay just for future. Go and watch the replay of Navajo Nation's run last time out there and Gladiatorian that all of us liked. If you watch that replay, and this was, I would even say if this was a 1,400, I would have been all in with the horse. Because
100%, 1,400, no game.
No game. But you're 100% correct. We all read it the same. Navajo Nation, for me, if that wins, good luck. I can't have that over 1,100 meters. Maybe it's just a prep run. Robbie Hill may have something in mind to take this horse to Gauteng because he has traveled the horse in the past, in the Gauteng Guineas and the Classics. So he may just have a plan to prep him up here and take him to Joburg. I'm not saying that it will happen. It may happen. So we've given him his airtime because he does top the best weighted column, and we've given the explanation why and why he can't win. So who can win? Then we eliminate Navajo Nation from the best weighted column. It's Cat's Pajamas at a 101. Luhamba Pamblili. For me, the jury's still out on the rating, although this is a conditions race. I'm just talking about his rating. Cold Shine, you heard it from Peter Muscat, and then Buffalo Bill Cody, who will make a massive runner. When it comes to fitness now, Sheldon, with sprinters, I think most trainers, jockeys, anybody involved in racing will tell you can get away with it. Once you start, bringing them back over a trip first time out, then you need your horse supremely fit. And certain horses will come out running fresh. Could this be the case with Cat's Pajamas, that it give you that impression that he can come out and win first up? It's not a long break, but it is a break.
Yes, a horse over 1,100 meters, no problems for me. Obviously, we had the rains and he's had a bit of a rest and that, a few days off. But over 1,100 meters, sprinters, they come to hand quickly. You give them 2 or 3 breeze ups and 2 or 3 hard gallops and they'll be 100%. And these are spot on. Once they go the mile and upwards, then you got to have a fit horse because they come up for oxygen the last 200 meters. And Cat's Pajamas beat Danton from Santon last time out, third to Cosmic Speed. He's run behind some very decent opposition. And with the 1.5 kilograms off the back, the draws in the favor, 2 wins on the turf, and should be the horse they all have to beat. Number 1, Warrior of Royalty, is an interesting runner. Liked him strongly last time out. Looked the right type of field. He's a horse who's got the ability. And then you got Buffalo Storm Cody, who ran 6 behind Cat's Pajamas in the penultimate run and second to lead the charge last time out. So I think this is one of those races where Cat's Pajamas could get away with it, but I do have healthy respect for 1 or 2 others, although they're out at the weights.
This horse, Buffalo Storm Cody, do you think it's a big advantage that after they met, he's already had a run to bring him on compared to Cat's Pajamas? And that will give him every chance of reversing the form. The fact that he's had a pipe opener.
That could be the telling factor because one race is worth 7 or 8 lengths. So that one run could have brought him on. And whereas Cat's Pajamas, the 63 days off the track, if he's just needing the run or he's just underdone for the race, then a horse like Buffalo Storm Cody could certainly hold the aces with that 1 extra run under the belt.
And we have to give a comment for Luhamba Pambili. Last time out, personally, I thought it was a wrong race for him. I must say that he ran a good race. He was only beaten 2 lengths by Luna Cam. I keep looking at his rating. I know that this is a conditions plate, but I just keep looking at his rating, and I want to see, once his rating comes into play against horses in handicaps, etc., if it is the mark, because he won well first up, but his next start against Lunacam, I think that was a good effort from him. He is a horse that showed a lot of speed first up, and then second time out, he seemed to be outpaced, but he was only beaten 2 lengths, so he's the horse that I think could possibly raise his game if he gets the luck from the draw here, having his first run at Hollywoodbets Greyville. But in summarizing, on what I see in black and white, how I analyze the race, I'm going to take a chance, and it's a big one, with these 2 runners. They are top of betting boards. Sheldon mentioned Cat's Pajamas 14-10, Buffalo Storm Cody 33-10. Can we do that in the jackpot as well? Because I'm jotting the numbers down. Are we just going to go 3 and 4, or you got a roughie that you want to consider?
If the guys want to throw in 1 extra horse, number 1, Warrior of Royalty. Although he's well out at the weight, last time out I really fancied him. I thought the 10-1 was the wrong price. He came through. But on the ratings, he does have it all to do.
Okay, we'll make a decision and include 1, 3, and 4. I'm jotting those numbers down. We don't want to mention something, and if it happens and we miss out, and then it's hard luck stories. Hate those stories. 1, 3, and 4 for the carryover jackpot, but 3 and 4 should fight out the finish. Well, we're on to race number 6. Races 6 fillies and mares. 96 handicap, which means there's some form to work around, quality in the race. Maybe trainer Mark Dixon, Stuart Ferry, and Peter Muscat could be some help to us.
Yeah, she loves Greyville. Obviously, that first run back at Scottsville, she was a bit above herself, and she was lapping it up with Lunacam for 700 metres, so that kind of enhanced. She got very tired on the day. I'm expecting big improvement. I just think this one will put a spot on.
She's doing well, even though it's a 2-month break, she was in to run the other day when the meeting was abandoned, so she's fit enough. Her better form's on the poly, but in saying that, she's run good races on the grass, but when you're 88, so opportunities are limited, but she's fit and well at home, and if she handles the turf, she'll be a runner.
Getting the queue, she has won at Greyville, but does prefer Scottsville. Also, she came back from a break the other day and went a bit pear-shaped. They didn't put her in as late as one would have liked. Missed the break. Race over, really. Got a shocking draw on Sunday as well, which is obviously against her. We're going to need a lot of luck in running, so not going to be easy, put it that way.
She's doing very well. I had to scratch her at her last start where she had a little foot issue, but those are behind her. As you say, she's a kilo under sufferance. She does have the outside 12 draw to contend with. However, she has been looking for a bit of cut in the ground, which, according to the weather report we're going to have come Sunday. We'll have to ride her quietly. She has got her well-documented wind concerns. If they go a decent enough gallop up front, I expect her to be coming home very well, and she could run into the quartets.
Amazing. If she never had those issues, how good she would have been. Shanta's Pride. I had a chat to Peter Muscat. I had a chat to Craig. On many occasions, he named the horse about the filly. Sheldon knows the story. And that is it. They often say the good ones have all the issues in racing. It's amazing. All the problems go with the good horses. This Shanta's Pride, well, she's got the draw to overcome. I'll just give you some guide with the betting. Number 1 is at 8-1. Horse number 4 at 11-2, 7 is at 9-2. Pretty Victory 18-10. That's what they got that horse at, and it's double figures the balance. I like a few horses here. I'm not going to say that Pretty Victory is not a good thing. There'll be many that will say this is the banker in the jackpot and the pick 6. Although she is coming off a 2.5-month break. She's a smart sort on a day. Her form says it all. She's been carded to race a few times before today, and she hasn't taken a place. I know that she's been in the race and she's been scratched, and for whatever reason, so I'm just going to call it could be an interrupted preparation that she's had, therefore being scratched, but she's been off since the 17th of July. And this filly, what do you make of her? I know that she's a deserved favorite, but I'm going to make a big, bold statement here. And I'm not putting the guys off. Please, don't get me wrong. I think you need to play to beat her if you want to get the cash in the jackpot.
I'm on your side there, Dees. When I looked at the betting, I said Pretty Victory, although she's done exceptionally well. She's a decent daughter of Vercingetorix. Looking at her record, she's won 50% of her races, 6 runs for 3 wins. Shanta's Pride did run second to her 3 runs back, and therefore throws Shanta's Pride into the mix at around 10-1. But like you mentioned, we'll look to try and beat the favourite. Number 3, Lady Heist. Number 5, Captain's Christie. And then I'm going to throw in number 12, Shanta's Pride. So Lady Heist, we're talking off air. They've been trying over the 1,600 metre trip. But if you go back earlier in her form, she ran behind our horse Shyfolia over 1,000 metres. So she's learned to stay. But coming back to the sprint, 10-1, there could be some value.
I think plenty of value. Number 1, let's start off at the basics beside the horse. Glenn Cotson, flying. Cole Dickens gaining how much of confidence, just getting chances from the stable. You could see the results. Doubles, they're landing. Horses that have been punted, they're landing. I think the only disappointment of late would have been that Boom Shakalaka the other day, which we didn't like. I said, if that wins, I'm out. You have to take. We said
1 and 2 we left out.
We left out that 21 something of Duncan Howell's.
21 May.
We said with those 2 win, we out. We didn't want to go with the young horses. But I think that would have been the only disappointment for the one that they went for, because that was punted. But this mare, on the other hand, I'm going to say that 10-1 is not going to last, because she's versatile. Anything from 1,000 to 1,600 meters, she runs well. A distance record, a win in 3 seconds from 7 starts, including a 4th. And she could come out racing fresh. She was sprinting, and then they tried over ground, and wow, she she said, I can stay. They kept her over ground, but she's coming back and she's coming over a sprinter. I think if they just allow this horse to possibly dictate matters, and if she's fit and well, she could win. 10-1 looks a generous price about number 3, Lady Heist. My other number in the race is going to be Stormy Choice, Tini Prince's runner with Cabello up. I think the draw is a big factor going around the turn, and I wouldn't discount the chances of number 1. That's trading at 8-1. And then the number 9 horse, Pretty Victory. So I'm going to give you 3 numbers for the jackpot. And how many horses here? Well, we got 12 with the scratching. We can include 2 more from you or 3 more, Sheldon, but I'm going to go 1, 3, and 9.
I'm going to add 2 more horses. Number 5, Captain's Christie from the Mark Dixon stable. After pacing it out with Luna Cam on that occasion, Sharfolio has only beaten ahead second. And I think in this type of company, I think she was supposed to run 2 weeks ago, Captain's Christie, and she was scratched. Yes. So all things being equal, I think she's a huge player. If you go back in her earlier form, Pray for Rain, Quandary, and some decent sorts. And then I have to throw in number 12, Shanta's Pride. She was also supposed to run about 2 weeks ago, and she had a hoof abscess. She had an abscess, so it just set her back a little bit. But she's a horse who can pack a powerful finish. So I'm going to include Shanta's Pride and number 5, Captain's Christie as the 2 long shots.
Okay. We've got our 5 runners there in the jackpots, but both Sheldon and I agree that number 3, Lady Heist, the 10-1 looks too generous.
Jumping into the ring for race number 7, Dwarf at 16:10. It'll be run over 1900 meters. And just having a look at the early betting, number 1, Vion's Queen from 28-10 is now 22-10. Number 2, Konda Ekokanyeni, 33-10. Number 4, Petty Vido is 4-1, and Hot Strike at 9-2. And then Escapologist at 5-1. So it shows you the open nature of this event, and this will be run over 1900 meters. 16:10. But let's go have a look at a rerun of Petty Vido and also an interview with Mark Dixon.
Wonderful Craig Zaki, very confident at the 300. Miss Platina the Grey starting to run on, but at this stage, Wonderful by 2. Miss Platina now asked for maximum, but this individual makes the presence felt and gonna streak away for glory. Petty Vido safe and sound second. Petty Vido.
Yeah, Hot Striker, 7-year-old now. I think she's at her peak. His Lingaris, running well, very consistent. Looks, it is up in class. I mean, the last race that she won was perfect for her. But you know, I think she can earn a check. But I would be surprised if she won that race. It's a lot stronger than the previous. Yeah, Escapologist. She's grown into a lovely filly now. She's ultra consistent, really. Cole gets on well with her. She settles well for him. Drawn at 8 of 8, I'm sure he can get cover, and he knows her well enough. I think she's a big runner again.
Race number 7 has that open appearance about it. As we've gone through race by race, there's a number of races where you can throw a blanket over the field. And in race number 7, number 1, Vion's Queen is the first runner we're going to touch on. The 4-year-old Bay filly, the daughter of Erupt from the informed Gareth van Zyl stable. Marco and Rensburg jumps aboard. She's won 2 of her 8 races to date. And then looking at her last 2 efforts, D's, an merit rated 80 and a merit rated 82, not disgraced behind Lock and Key and Miss Platina. She's going to be my second selection. However, this horse number 4, Petty Vido, I keep following her and waiting for that next victory. And I get the feel that she is better on the poly, but she runs well on the turf. So I'm going to go with number 4, Petty Vido. The Garth Puller stable has turned the corner. Ran second to Escapologist in the penultimate run. Over-raced hanging, and then over-raced last time out over the 1600 meter trip behind Wonderful. So D's, I'm going to go number 4, Petty Vido, to beat number 1, Vion's Queen. And obviously a horse like number 2, Konda Ekokanyeni, needs to be included with a low mass.
I like your thought process with number 4, Petty Vido, but what I want to add to that is I watched her last 2 starts, and I know that they didn't want to waste the barrier position of 1, but I'd like to see them give her a chance. For me personally, when I watch her races, better runs have been coming from off the speed. You know, sometimes she's just too far out of her ground. If you can remember her last win, She came from the back of the field. It was on the poly track. She came on the back of the field. I remember that day clearly, and they put the money down and she beat Jodification. I think if she's just given a chance in a nice small field, drawn 4 out of 8, just sitting off the speed instead of, going and racing up handy, I think you could be onto something. So she could be a big runner. Mark Dixon, strangely enough, he's actually leaning strongly ahead of Hot Strike with the stable companion, Escapologist, because he said that's a big runner and he just feels Hot Strike against this type of field. Maybe it is a bridge too far. He could be on the mark, but I won't discount the chances purely on the fact that Sereno gets on so well with the 7-year-old. Number 3, Hot Strike. And then Vihan's Queen will have to give the weight to the entire field. 61.5 kgs over 1,900 meters. It's not about the weight that she's carrying, but it's about carrying the weight over 1,900 meters. That's my concern. Because once you start going over ground and you have to carry the weight, you need to be a fit horse. So we'll see if she can carry that weight to victory. And I agree with Sheldon. It's a big test for guard puller's runner, who could be anything of a low mass of 52.5. So are we happy? 1, 2. I'm not happy because now I never factored in number 8 here. So I don't know how many. Our jackpot, in-running jackpot, is costing 60 Rand thus far after 3 legs. How many runners here?
And you said Escapologist is an escape artist, so you don't want you don't want the tickets to escape here. You want to keep them trapped.
That's it. So I don't know how. Do you want to go 5 runners?
Let's go 5.
Or we're going to take a chance, and I don't actually want to leave out numbers 1 and 2, although they're not in my top 2.
Let's break the rule.
Let's go with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. And if we're running in the jackpot and we miss with those 5 runners, I don't know. I think I may just give up playing jackpots for a while then.
Then we'll be escapologists.
Yeah, I'll be escaping to the apologist if there is one out there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Your roving banker is going to be Petit Verdot.
Yes, I'll go with Petit Verdot. That'll be my roving banker. And as you mentioned, the last 2 runs from the 1 draw, they've used the draw. On this occasion, a bit more of a chance, and I think she'll just about win.
Okay, that is it. Race number 7.
Welcome back for race number 8, Jorf, at 16:45, and hopefully we'll be laughing all the way to the bank over the 1,600-meter trip after race number 8. And when we come to race number 8, we do have interviews lined up with trainers Stuart Ferry and also Mark Dixon.
Yeah, I think if he tends to get a bit out of his ground and then battles to make it up, and so back him up quite quickly off his last start, off a decent draw, and a little bit further. If he can just be a couple of lengths closer, he'll definitely be competitive there.
Yeah, always a wide draw jazz festival. He's his own worst enemy. For some reason now he's been missing the jump, so we've taken the blinkers off, the compression mask and cheek pieces on, and he just seems to get a bit fractious in the stalls. But let's see how he jumps, and I've certainly got ability for a race like that to be competitive. So more hopeful than confident. Let's see.
Right, the 8th and final event. Now this is where we're going to try and put the puzzle together. If you're well in front, you'll be playing for free. If you're on the back foot and you're looking to get out, these will maybe give us 1 or 2 numbers that we can structure a quartet around. But I'm going to go with the horse who's currently trading at 14-1. Number 1, Hiawatha Goldberg. This is a son of Rabada from the MJ Oudendal stable. Dropped down to a 71 in the ratings, has the best of the draw. Nicholas Patel rides, and they're going with a set of cheek pieces here. If you dig deeper in the form lines, ran behind Mrs. Geriatric, Salukwe, Wiccan Warrior, Voldemorts and the likes. Last 2 runs a little bit below par, but I like the fact that they've dropped the rating. And from that 1 draw, the cheek pieces could have the desired effect. Still a 1-time winner, but but I think this could be the fly in the ointment. I really like number 1, Hiawatha Goldberg. Was carded to race the other day. They obviously took him out, and this was the race for him. So I'm saying at 14-1, this is going to be my value bet for the day. The other day I liked that horse Altimo and Crested Eagle in the same race, so you can back 2 horses. So I'm going to back number 1, Hiawatha Goldberg, and then horses like number 3, Bomb Bomb, and number 13, Iron Will. These are 2 other horses that I am going to have a small cover bet on.
Okay, Sheldon has given his thoughts on 3 nice runners there. But what I'm going to tell you is this. We are confident that we are going to catch Jackpot 1, which is a carryover of 250,000. So these are the numbers. Just look sharp. 1, 3, 5, 6, by 1, 3, 4, by 1, 3, 5, 9, and 12, by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. If you multiply that spend out, it'll cost you 300 Rand. And if you're playing into a R1 million pool, I think it's quite an inexpensive spend, 300 Rand in a R1 million pool. So we're confident with that jackpot. So what you need to do now, if you're a Pick 6 player, is work out race number 3 and work out race number 8. We've given you the 2 easiest races on the card to work out. I'm just joking. Race 3 and 8 look tough. So we've worked out the jackpots. If you can put the puzzle together for races 3 and 8, I think you could have the Pick 6 on the day. So Sheldon has given you numbers 1, 3, and 13. 1, 3, and 13. I like a horse a lot here, but I can't give you all the confidence in the world, called Shotgun Wiley. Or Shotgun Willie. This individual has been racing at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. I don't think it's by design. I just think that's the way the program was. But his last win came over the course and distance, and that was a superb finish that he showed, 400 to finish. That was beating a horse like Iron Will. His last start, the encouragement was there. You know, you see every time this horse, he just seems to leave it too late. And I just think against this type of field, the shorter run in, and the speed will be on, nice patient ride, sitting off the speed at around 7-8-1 in the betting. He could also be a nice horse to possibly go each way with. But my numbers here, I did go for the place accumulator number, Sheldon. And I'm just hoping for survival here with a horse like Pongola, Michael Roberts' runner. I'm going to say that 10-1 looks good value about that horse. And number 8, Shotgun Wiley. 6-8. I just want your thoughts about this horse, Henry Harvey, because, you know, Garrett has 2 runners in the race. For me, Night Shark, clearly the preferred horse against a maiden winner. What's your thinking there?
I'm in the dark with Henry Harvey. First time out, beat My Boy Lollipop. That was over 1,200 meters. Very weak form line.
My Boy Lollipop still in the maidens. Nothing has come through.
Yeah, there's a lot against Henry Harvey. Besides that, he won first time out. So an unbeaten horse is always a very dangerous horse. Drawn out very deep at trap number 14. They're going the 1,600. So there's a lot that we have to learn from this individual. And he's not taking on the blind school here. He's taking on some horses who've got some fair form in the bank, although it's a 73 handicap. He's certainly a horse that we're going to learn a lot more about. And after winning first time out, let's see if he can progress. He was drawn 14 out of 15. So he came from the outside draw down the lane, and he kept up to beat a horse called My Boy Lollipop. But I'll be on the fence with number 14, Henry Harvey. And he's chalked up a 90.
He's chalked up a 90. That's what he has to run to. Okay, the other day we did the show together. We just missed. I'll tell you what we just missed. That quartet paid 33,000. I know it because I missed it.
Ouch.
We picked up Dennis Bosch's horse, Heavens, something, Cabinet Shuffle, alles. We had everything. But I didn't structure it right. The winner with Damien Pillay, Princess something. Imperial Power. The winner came, I had it for, the way I structured it, 3rd and 4th. But we had everything else. So in this race, what we're saying, it's a quartet race to close things off. Sheldon has given you numbers 1, 3, and 13. All at a price. I'm giving you numbers 5, price, 8, a price. So 2 runners, along with his 3 runners, you got 5 runners. If you can try and work it out along those 5 runners and possibly include your fancies, I think you'll get a very good quartet dividend. How many horses are you going to include in the Pick 6? It's up to you. But my roughies are going to be numbers 5 and 8. Sheldon, if you have to pick 2 horses of your 3 as your roughies?
I'd go number 1, Hiawatha Goldberg, and number 3, Bomb Bomb.
Well, there you got it. 4 runners, boxed exacta swingers, numbers 1, 3, 5, and 8. Race number 8. And that is it for the race by race preview. And on behalf of the entire team, that's Gallop TV, Sheldon Peters, and myself, Dees Dine, and to you, the valued racing fan, have a blast, find all the winners. Hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful day if you're racing in Hollywoodbets Greyville. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gaste.
Welcome back for the segment where we give the suggested bet for the day at Hollywoodbets Greyville, the 29th of September, Sunday. We're going to bring up my perm, which will be an exotic. It will be a bar pot for the day. So we're going to bring up my bar pot. And I have started with 2 bankers. In the opening leg of the bar pot, I am going to banker number 5, Happy Fortune. Runs for the Willie Peters team and a host of connections. They came up to the commentary box the other day and they absolutely enjoyed it. So I'm hoping that they can get their winner here with Happy Fortune, and it'll be nice for Daryl Moore and all the connections. Second leg, number 7, Artist Model, ready to win by numbers 5, 7, and 9. By numbers 1, 3, and 6. So we've got a couple of soldiers there by 3 and 4. And then ending off the bar pot, we're going with numbers 1, 5, and 9. So ending off the bar pot, Stormy Choice number 1. Number 5, Captain's Christie, and also number 9, Pretty Victory, and I'm hoping to survive that final leg. So all in all, best of luck for a top day's racing, and as always, you the punter and the bloodline of the game, hopefully you come out in front and you got money for the next race.